All right, which doesn't belong and why? Best remaining free agents edition. Let's start with veteran tackles who are still available. Teron Armstead, Dwayne Brown, Trent Brown. Which doesn't belong and why?
Yeah, leave this graphic up there for a second, guys. I mean, I do find it interesting. You know, what we did not see was the aging veteran, used to be a superstar player, get big money thrown at him yesterday. I feel like that to me was one thing that jumped out here over the last 48 hours. Those guys who are up there in age, have a little injury history, I think teams are learning, wait, we can't throw big money at these people anymore. We got to see where the market is and go evaluate like that. You know, hey, J.J. Watt in Arizona should be a poster child for that. Wait, a guy that's been hurt a lot the last 2 years and do that? Wait, we're going to give him $15 million a year and then think he's going to play and be healthy the year? Oh, that's right. He got hurt halfway through the year. You know, that it's buyer beware. Now, veteran tackle still available. To get to that, I'm going to go with Trent Brown out of the three that we talked about. Teron Armstead, Dwayne Brown. Trent Brown's still in the prime of his career. You know, this is not about age. It's a little bit about, you know, it sounds like, you know, will he work? Will he do the right things, you know, to fit in a football team there? And a lot of people, and of course you've heard him say this, New England just brings out the best in me. But he is sitting out there a free agent. I'll go with him as the one that doesn't belong because the other guys are, you know, a little up there in age and have some other questions too.
Well, and I say Trent Brown for a similar reason. It only works for him in New England, so no one's going to fall for it again like the Raiders did when they gave him a huge pile of money, and then they end up handing him back to the Patriots. The Patriots can wait it out because no one else is going to take a chance on Trent Brown because it only works for him in New England. That hurts him now when it comes to negotiating with New England because there's no one else out there that's going to give him anything significant because they know it only works if he's a Patriot. Veteran free agent edge rushers still available, which doesn't belong to why. Von Miller, Chandler Jones, Jadeveon Clowney. Chris.
Wow. I'll go with Jadeveon Clowney there. Von Miller, I look at, yes, you know, a guy that's getting up there in age, but still got a lot of good football, professional, and it doesn't really seem to have any injury history. Had the torn ACL right in the 2013 season. That's the last time he's really been hurt like significantly or you know, something you'd worry about, I guess. Chandler Jones still really good, you know, getting up there in age too. Jadeveon Clowney to me is the guy with all these one-year contracts that I'm going to go with that doesn't belong and why. First off, he's not nearly as talented as they are as a pass rusher. I mean, those guys are legit, you know, forces coming off the edge. Clowney in his prime was just a force, but never been a great pass rusher that way. And then I think you add on top of the fact that we know there is injury history there. There is a degenerative knee that he's even talked about, you know, openly. And again, last year wasn't that great for him in Cleveland. He didn't pop very much there. So the other two guys had moments of popping a lot. I'll go with Jadeveon Clowney.
I'll go with Von Miller just because he's got that sizzle. He's got a couple of Super Bowl rings. He brings something to your team beyond what he's going to do on the field. And do some teams pay a premium for that? Yes, they do. And I think that's kind of what Von Miller is considering. Do I go to a team where I take less and maybe get Super Bowl ring number 3? Is there a team out there where I can go slide in and be a focal point and be a guy that helps sell tickets? And the Cowboys reportedly considering Von Miller now that Randy Gregory has bolted for the Broncos. And obviously, with Gregory going to Denver, the chances of Von Miller going back to the Broncos have diminished dramatically. Veteran defenders who were recently released, linebacker Bobby Wagner, linebacker Zadarius Smith, linebacker Miles Jack. Who do you got?
There's 3 good football players. I'll go with Zadarius Smith with the fact that didn't play really last year until the very end of the season in the playoffs. And he's an outside guy. The other 2 guys are inside, stand-up linebackers. You know, but Jack and Wagner are very good. But Zadarius Smith, you know, again, it's what, year 8 of his career he's going into. It's not that he's you know, he's still got some really good football left in him, and he's still a big physical force. I got to think there's some great value for him out there as for some team as far as the edge of a defense, playing outside linebacker, 4-3 defense end. I'll go with him just because he plays a little different position than the other 2 guys.
I'll say Miles Jack doesn't belong from this perspective. That guy has had a serious knee issue his entire career.
Right.
And he has survived and thrived and gotten paid big money by the Jaguars fighting through that knee. Now, he may be at the end of the road. He may be at the point where the offers are so low, he just has to decide, is it worth playing at all? But Jack what he's done to fight through a knee that
got hurt in college,
of the other guys or more. Yeah, they would have never done anything close to what he's been able to accomplish during his time with the Jaguars, and he's still only 26 years old. So I don't know what he's got left, but it's amazing he's done as much as he has.
No, he's a guy that I got on my list. I need to study him a little bit. No joke here, just a little bit of what he looked like early in the year and see if you can see something with the knee. Because when he is healthy and things are good, and I know that's always going to be kind of a concern, man, I mean, special linebacker. But it's definitely a guy that I got on my radar here that I got to go give a little closer look and see if I, didn't realize he was laboring so much early in the year before he started missing a few games.
And when you're talking about a linebacker and the car crashes that they initiate, the running backs are the ones who take the car crashes. The linebackers are the ones who initiate them. You take injury history and age, and at a certain point, it's just over, like it was for Jalen Smith last year. Cut by the Cowboys, had a cup of coffee with the Packers, and you just get to the point where it's just done. There's somebody else who's young and who's healthy, and you just fade off into the sunset. All right, last one. Wide receivers from the veteran free agent category. Allen Robinson, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry. Which doesn't belong and why?
I'll go with Odell just because I feel like, first off, he's the only guy that's injured of that group, so he's dealing with that. And I feel like the other two guys could really go anywhere. Like OBJ is one where I go, I would be absolutely shocked if he was on any other team other than the Los Angeles Rams. I think there's real value. Like you said with Von Miller, Odell Beckham Jr., I think, has some of those same qualities. And I know they loved him in L.A. and what he brought to the team and the energy on the field every day and practice and all of that, let alone he's talented. And we've talked about, the ACL injury. I'll go with Odell Beckham Jr. there.
I'll say Jarvis Landry just because he brings a quality of toughness and leadership to a team that is extremely valuable. I know the Chiefs have been linked to him, and I think he could, they keep looking for that other guy that's going to stretch the field. What about when you consider Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce being the focal point, and if the defense slants in their direction, and there's Landry with one-on-one underneath, you just get it close, and he's going to catch it. He's going to make it happen. I'm fascinated by what he could do for the Chiefs. He may be what that offense has been missing.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.